Hello, my name is Sam Spiva and welcome to episode 2 of Fresh Daily, where I give you updates and ideas on the ingredients, recipes, techniques, and stories that have inspired my food journey. Today I'm going to be talking about spring. It's April, it's beautiful outside here in the Western Washington area. I know most of us have been quarantining for a while, so we haven't gotten to see all that beautiful sunshine and the things growing. Yesterday, when I had the chance to drive past the farm stand at Around the Table Farms in Paulsbo, one of the things I noticed was stinging nettles, which is a very typical spring item here in Western Washington. And they remind me a lot of this area. The flavor is really unique and something that I knew I just had to get right away. This is my first nettles of the season, so I'm excited about it. I also have some garlic chives from another local farm called Harsh Farms out of Bremerton. So these garlic chives are really fragrant and aromatic. And I'm going to blend up all of these things today to make a nettle chimichurri. Chimichurri is a traditional Argentinian sauce that usually has parsley, some sort of green, garlic, chili, salt, and olive oil, a little vinegar as well. In this instance, I'm going to do my own take. I'm going to use things that are local here to my area. So I'm using two items, garlic chives and nettles that are both extremely local, and some parsley as well to keep that traditional flavor alive. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to blanch these ingredients. It's important to blanch them, especially the nettles, because if you don't, they actually will sting you. They have a lot of spines on them, and you'll break out in a little rash if you don't cook them before you use them. Okay, so I've got all of my ingredients here to make my stinging nettle chimichurri. Over here, I've got my fresh garlic chives from Harsh Farms. Here I've got some parsley. That's a traditional herb used in a chimichurri. I like that flavor in it, so I'm definitely going to use some. I've got my stinging nettles here. You can see I'm touching them with gloves, or else these little spines on them would sting me. I've also got some fresh garlic cloves, extra virgin olive oil, red wine vinegar, salt, and red pepper flakes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these nettles into some boiling water and shock them in ice water. They won't sting you when you're eating them or when you're touching them after you blanch them, and they'll be good to use for the chimichurri. I'm also going to blanch my parsley and my garlic chives just for some color and to allow them to hold out longer. So if you blend herbs in really fine greens like this, they often will turn brown on you in a very short amount of time. So since I want to save this sauce for a couple of days and still want it to be a nice vibrant green, I'm going to go ahead and blanch everything, shock it in ice water, and then blend it together. So now my nettles are being blanched in boiling water. They don't take very long to cook. You only want them in there for about 30 seconds or so, and I shock them here in this bowl of ice. And now I'm just going to repeat the process with my parsley and my garlic chives. Same rules apply for all this. And once we have everything blanched, we'll put it together. I really love making chimichurri because it packs a huge punch of flavor. It's quick to throw together, and it's really versatile. It's versatile because a lot of times you have items in your house that you can use to make a chimichurri. That bunch of parsley or cilantro that's hanging out at the back of the fridge. You might have some things in your garden that you've been growing that are overgrown that you don't quite know what to use. You have too many herbs on hand and just have too much to deal with. So this is a great way to put together a sauce that goes great with a lot of different things. This is great for fish. It's great for steak. I'm going to use it for some pasta as well as for a seafood dish that I'm putting together. So now that I've got everything blanched, what I want to do is dry this stuff out really well. So if you don't dry it out, then your sauce is going to be really waterlogged. All the flavor of your herbs is just going to get lost to the water. So the first thing to do is to just squeeze out as much water as you can in all of these herbs and in the nettles. Now that we've got that fairly dry, I'm going to take a towel and lay all of these out on the towel, fold it over, and just go ahead and really press dry. Get all this excess moisture that you can out of these herbs so that the flavors will really come through and really shine in your chimichurri. Okay, so now these are good to go. I'm gonna chop them up a little bit here with my knife so that they'll run through the blender a little bit easier and they won't get tangled in the blade. Just a rough chop will be totally fine. Also, I really like the herb stems in my sauces. I think they add a ton of flavor. A lot of people will always take out their stems when they're using it for things excessively. So I think the herbs definitely should be picked for when you're using it as a garnish or when you're doing something that requires really fine touch to it. But in sauces, when you're grinding it up with a blender, you don't always need to pick all the stems. They have a ton of flavor in them, a lot of times even more than the leaves of the herbs themselves, and they won't be offensive once they're blended together. So we've got all of our greens in here now. And I'm gonna put my garlic, fresh cloves of garlic in. Salt. I like to use kosher salt for almost everything. Red wine vinegar. Extra virgin olive oil. And red chili flakes. Okay, now we've got everything blended together here. Right away, the smell of those nettles and garlic chives is just so aromatic. You can see from the blanching that this sauce just turned out a super bright green color. It's not at all dull or faded or brown. This is gonna be beautiful for pasta, steak, seafood. It's just really versatile. And the way I made it with the nettles and the garlic chives, it feels really local. It feels like it's from Washington. It feels really inspired by my surroundings, what I have growing out in the yard or what my neighbors are growing. So this is a great sauce to incorporate some of the things that are local to your area. Okay, now it's all together. Egg yolk fettuccine with our stinging nettle chimichurri. Wild mushrooms, tomatoes, some snap peas, and bacon. And to finish it off, some freshly ground Parmesan cheese. Beautiful.